that the art of conversation is dying. So here's what I'm going to do about it. I am now going to teach what these almost 40 years have taught me, how to have conversations that matter. 6 courses, from the anatomy of a great conversation to generous listening as a superpower to handling difficult exchanges without losing your dignity or your mind. Go to TavisTalks.com right now. That's TavisTalks.com. Download the free guide, see what's coming, sign up to be the first to know when we launch the series. Conversation is a skill, and like any skill, it can be taught. I'll see you in class.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
You better talk to me nicely. Next to blow, bitch, I might be. Can't forget all days, they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't get advice, no. Talk to me nicely. I know that stay heated, we getting icy. Whoa, can't forget all the moments they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't get advice, we know. We on top, flipping the bird, they going sick. But I'ma make them eat every word, so don't trip, yeah. Even with all the bridges they burn, I won't switch. Even with all this water we dripping, we won't slip, yeah. Blast Bear Bond in the building, he don't miss. But we call it success when your circle is all rich. If you a big stepper, don't trip over small shit. I call it how I see it, but never gon' call it quits. I won't, yeah, I won't. But what do I owe the niggas? I don't even know. I think that we finally made it, it gotta be so. The way they be pocket watching, they gotta be bro. Not even my partner's partner, but calling me bro. To get it straight out the bottom, you gotta be bold. Hate it or love it, the underdogs on top. I'm only motivation for ones who don't got no. And you
KBLA. Talk to me nicely. Now's the time to do it at 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Phone lines are open, and we do have a lot to talk about. I think top of mind for most of us, I don't know, I guess I should speak for myself, but I'm judging by what I'm seeing on my social media feed, and what seems obvious is that the ICE task force, the ICE police force, are they a police force, law enforcement, homeland security, the personal vigilante, untrained army of this president is now murdering U.S. citizens. That's what they're doing. And the crazy thing about this is we said this was going to happen. We were worried that this was going to happen when they ramped up ICE, when they ramped up this deportation train wreck on steroids, which was part of the campaign rhetoric of this president, right? We're going to get rid of all of these criminals. Well, he lied, and all of his people lied and said there were tens of millions or hundreds of millions of immigrants who are criminals in the country. That was a lie. So once you win, you've got to make it seem like the lie was true. And that's when they started trying to kidnap people that are just regular workers, field workers, car wash attendants, people that work in the fields, that take care of children, that clean homes, that do gardening, that, one school superintendent. They just started rounding up people with jobs, not criminals, because the lie was a lie. There are not hundreds of millions nor tens of millions of undocumented migrants here working that are criminals. It was a lie. Real estimates, actual legitimate, creditable estimates, say there are about 11 million undocumented persons in the United States of America, all told. That includes people who are here on a temporary basis because they're in refugee status. They're trying to get asylum here. They're running from drug cartels, war, crazy conditions because of natural disasters and the charitable disasters that in many cases the U.S. has exacerbated, like in Haiti, right, where we messed up the cleanup, the charitable work after the earthquake and made things worse. Many times it's those kinds of situations. So you've got around 11, no, could be 9, could be 12 in that area, not tens, not hundreds of millions. And of those 11 million, a very small percentage were actually criminals. I've seen numerous studies and data sets that show that actually migrants are less likely to commit crimes than those of us who are citizens. Makes sense. If you're trying to fly under the radar, you don't want to be out here wiling out, speeding, robbing people, raping people. I mean, I guess criminals are criminals, but if I was trying to become a citizen somewhere, I probably would be on better behavior than the average, person that knows that they're entitled to stay here, right? A citizen. So far, we know. We got to see what they're going to do about the 14th Amendment. So as a result, they started trying to just grab everybody to meet quotas. These ICE agents are on quotas. They're supposed to arrest a certain number of people every day. So they're snatching people who are citizens. They're snatching people who are not criminals. They're taking people who are undocumented with no criminal record. And now, as we sort of thought, they're taking citizens. And yesterday in Minnesota, we saw on tape the murder by an ICE agent, a masked gunman of a U.S. citizen, a white woman, U.S. citizen. We'll talk about that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does, and I'm excited to be joined by an award-winning journalist, professor, and artist. He's contributed to the New York Times, Variety, NBC, CNN, and Channel Q. And he is an author on top of all of that. Jarrett Hill, welcome.
Hey there. Thank you for having me back. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling. I'm reading your bio, and I so love it when people can be a journalist, an author, and an artist. It seems like they always want to put us in a box. You can only do one thing, you know?
No, I'm enjoying it. It's given me an opportunity to be able to speak and communicate with an audience in a different kind of way that has been very welcome in a time where being a journalist is very difficult. and so, yeah.
Yeah, to say the least. Well, and congratulations to you. You're also a bit of a theologian. I know you've been in divinity school, and so you got a lot of different hats that you can wear, and probably can use them all right about now with what's going on in our country and in the world.
Yeah, I'm cautious with theologian because I feel like there are people who are better experienced than I to be able to call themselves theologians, but definitely studying religion and the ways in which religion as a power structure kind of impacts the way we think about our world and the ways we kind of show up in the space and communicate with each other. So for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you saw on yesterday what I was speaking on, which is the ICE agents in Minneapolis shooting a woman, a 37-year-old unarmed woman, and they're claiming that she was trying to hit them with a car, but the woman's name is Renee Nicole Good, but clearly she wasn't. You could see in the video she's trying to get away from them, and they shoot her in the head, shoot her dead, and then they refuse to let the doctor that was on the scene take a look at her. It's just bone-chilling, really.
Yeah, this makes me think about the Laquan McDonald case and the ways in which we were told one thing and then saw the video and saw a very different thing and then still had to come argue with them about it, right? And they get the messaging back from them. After working on the Jussie Smollett case for so long, looking at the Laquan McDonald case that preceded it was a big part of that coverage for me. And when we see these cases where the police do this thing and then you see the video of it and they still argue with it, it makes me think about the way that we message these things, right? In media, the way that the law enforcement is messaging them, the way that they are able to really rewrite the narrative and stay with it, no matter what we saw, no matter what we complained about, no matter what actually happened. There will be a narrative that they will embrace, right? And the people then have to rise up. And one of the things I was talking to, I believe I was tweeting on social media with someone about was I'm always curious, what is it going to take? Right? What is it going to take for people to rise up, to be angry enough, to be resistant enough? And like we saw in Sandy Hook, when they killed a bunch of white children in a school, a lot of us after that were like, oh, if y'all aren't going to do it now, then y'all are never going to do gun control reform.
Yeah.
Right? If we could see them shooting a white woman in Minneapolis without cause, I'm curious to see how people will respond to this moment in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, that's a really good point. She's a mama. She was a mother and a widow, mother of 3. She had just moved there, and she was a legal observer of those federal actions. She wasn't even a target of the ICE agents, but yet they shot her in the head. It reminds me also, Jarrett, of Donovan Jackson, I think that was his name, the young boy in Inglewood who was killed by police there, and there was a tape, and I was just sure that there would be a conviction because you can see what they're doing, but they they were not held accountable. And I didn't realize at the time that that was almost like a new pattern where we are being told not to believe our eyes, you know. Yeah.
I'm with you there. I feel like we've heard like Donald Trump, President of the United States, tell us, "Don't believe your lying eyes." Right? We've kind of seen that repeatedly, and I think that when we see these kinds of police killings in the media, it's challenging to know what to do with this information. I know for myself as a person, like after the Philando Castile shooting, I remember having to be much more vigilant about the videos that I was seeing of these things, the things that I would watch, the ways that I would engage with them, if I would share them because of the way they affected me. After the Philando Castile shooting, I've never been able to hear his daughter, I think she was 3 years old, consoling her mother after having seen the shooting. Like, I always remember hearing her consoling her mom, saying, "It's okay, I'm right here with you." Being like, wow, that little child just saw this thing happen in front of her. She's trying to console her mother. Like, I need to be thoughtful about how I'm taking care of myself in these instances, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so traumatic.
It's a really good point. Actually, the kid that I'm thinking about was not killed. He was just beat up, but it was on video. That was in 2002, so you probably don't remember it. But you're too young for that. But Donovan Jackson
was in a solid 11th grade in 2002. I was a journalist. Yeah. That was my first year.
Okay. Well, I was on the radio, okay? But I remember it because it was so crazy that you saw them beating the crap out of him and then they get off, right? Even though there's video. And yeah, I mean, but you're right about that as far as this, what some people call, you know, like violence porn or whatever. I only watch, typically I'll watch one of these videos once. I can't watch it over and over again because I know it's not good for my soul. But I do need to know what happened and report on it for the radio.
Well, and I think that's an important part of this, especially as a journalist, but also as a person who is in advocacy and activism that, you know, is always engaged. There's burden is the word I'll use. I don't know if it's the best word, but there's a burden to be aware, to have seen the thing, to be able to be informed. As a journalist, as an advocate, as an activist, as a person who cares about these things, right? And so then there's a debate with yourself of like, how much of this do I need to consume? How much do I need to know? But you need to be able to know enough to be able to come on and report on it, right? And so it's a challenging thing to continually see these things happen again and again, and to know that it's not going to be stopping anytime soon. And by the measures that we have in front of us, it's probably going to be getting worse. So it's like, how do we take care of ourselves in these times?
Well, when you've got the president and the Department of Homeland Security saying the officer feared for his safety and was acting out of self-defense, but you can see on the tape, he's telling her to stop. She's trying to drive away. He runs around and shoots her in the head. He's chasing her, even though she's in a car and he's on foot. I mean, it's not subtle. I'm not good at looking at these kind of tapes, right? I'm not always able to sort out what happened, you know, but in this case, it's crystal clear. And we've seen it with Kristi Noem and her airport videos, right, where she just sits up there and lies on a video. It makes me wonder the same thing, Jarrett. At what point are people just gonna? I see that his approval ratings are going down, but at what point do people just snap?
Yeah, I mean, the approval rating piece of it is interesting because his approval rating has never been over 45% in all of the years that he's been president across 2 terms. I don't think it's ever gotten above the mid 40s at best. I don't know what it takes for people to rise up and see this happening. I think that we are within fascism now. We're not like seeing fascism coming. We're not as concerned that fascism might happen. We have an authoritarian ruler who is sending the military into American cities to police them. We have an authoritarian ruler who has gone into another country and captured their leader and taken him out, right? We have an authoritarian ruler who is willing to use the arms of government to snatch people off the street, for no cause. Because even if we think about the ICE abductions of people, we know that we've seen that a single digit percentage of those people who have been detained have any kind of criminal history or background, right? Like when they've been processed and all those different things. We know list numbers of those people that the president has sent captured have been sent abroad.
Yeah. To
So,
random countries that they have no link to. Here you are in Sudan.
Absolutely.
But I'm from Mexico. Oh, well, that's what they're doing. And, you're right. Fascism is here. I wonder, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I wondered last night if there is an aspect of we will shoot a white woman in broad daylight on video and defend it as a warning to others. If we'll do this to you, what do you think we'll do to you, N-word, or you Latino, or you Asian person who's actually not even a citizen?
Yeah, I go back and forth with myself every day about how much of this is a message, and how much of it is recklessness, and how much of it is hatred, and how much of it is, various other things. And I guess even as I ask myself those questions, I'm not really sure how much is necessary for it to matter, right?
Yeah, that's
how much
true.
of it is a message, you know what I mean? And I go back and forth with myself because I'm like, I do know that one of the things I argue with myself about is whether or not Donald Trump is an idiot or an evil genius, and the problem is it's both.
Two things can be true. It's a great question.
Exactly.
Right? He could be an evil genius in certain areas and an idiot in others.
Absolutely. And so when we see these kinds of things happening, the evil genius side is oh, he is trying to message to people, can do whatever I want to do. But the idiot side would be oh, oops, sorry, right? And you don't know which side of it is, and I don't even know that it matters because the government is doing this to the people. And I know for myself, as I spent a good amount of time abroad at the end of last year, and then coming back to the States, I was anxious about it because I've been watching the coverage of Los Angeles has been occupied by the National Guard, which didn't end up being quite as true, and I knew that coming back. But coming back into this country, I'm oh, I am coming back into a United States that feels very different than when I left.
Yeah, it does.
And not knowing what to do with that.
Even coming across the border for me was trepidatious. Joe Just Us says in the YouTube comments, he says, we all need to wear body cams and get drones. Just regular citizens walking around in body cams. I can see how we came to that conclusion, but I can't imagine having to do that. And what would we do with all that tape or those files?
I can't remember. I can't remember who I just heard say it, but they were saying that the body cams have been useful in certain ways for us to be able to have the evidence, but we also just have a lot more footage of police shooting and killing people.
Yeah.
Not a whole bunch more police officers going to jail, not a whole lot of policy changes, not a lot of ways that we are becoming better because of these body cams. And that's not an argument against body cams, but it is saying we got this thing that we asked for, but we still are dealing with these kinds of issues and don't know what to do.
Well, the thing about the body cams is that we don't have consistent rules governing those files, right? When do the police have to release it? Can we have some legislation to make them stop editing it and putting their little voiceovers to slant the narrative? Can we force them to release them? All of those things still have to be managed. And from a policy perspective, and I think that even though what you're saying is absolutely true, Jarrett, it's also true that there are some cases where even though they continue to lie, the public can look, and this woman, Renee Good, is a perfect example. Yogi Fish 4721 is in the comments saying she tried to assault an ICE officer with a truck. No, she didn't. You can easily see it's not even close. She's trying to get away. He can say that, and it's not the truth, but we can see it because of, I don't even know I don't think that was body cam footage. I'm not sure where that footage came from. It might have been a bystander. But many times the body cam footage, Sonia Massey is a great example, contradicts the story that the officer was trying to tell and makes the conviction, or at least the accountability, the attempt at a conviction possible.
Yeah, you use the phrase that the police give us all the time about the being in fear for their life.
Yeah.
And like, anytime I hear that, I'm inclined to not believe it without even saying anything, because we hear it so much. And I'm sure that there are plenty of instances in which police officers are in fear for their life. Like, it is a dangerous job. But like, whenever I hear that in the media and then see this in the video, it's like those words don't even mean anything anymore.
Yeah, well, clearly they've been trained to say it. Yeah, clearly
Exactly.
they've been trained to say it. And it is a dangerous job, but when I actually looked into it, I found out it wasn't as dangerous as I thought. Apparently, being a roofer is more dangerous than being a cop, and there was a long list of other jobs, which really surprised me. Radio host was not one of them, but there are lots of jobs that are more dangerous than being a cop, and those folks don't get to go around shooting people. It takes bravery, so then that's what you're signing up for. You know what you're signing up for.
Yeah, and I mean, I wish I had the data readily in front of me, but I know that the vast majority of police officers never use their gun, right? Are never pulling the trigger on their gun. And when we think about the danger of that role, we also have to be reminded that we are informed by a lot of propaganda, right? Propaganda being police television shows where we are watching police officers, do backflips over cars and roll over the hood of a trunk and shoot a gun and all kinds of crazy things that they have to do in these television shows. And I used to do a show called Santa, and we did like 3 episodes talking about this and the different ways that the shows that we watch that show us police officers in their jobs give us a sense of policing that is not an accurate sense of policing, and that is being largely because television shows need to be entertaining, right? And it's not entertaining to not be jumping out the car and assailing a suspect and shooting them and getting them. And like, it's entertaining to watch that. So we think that is what policing is like day to day.
That's a great point. Jarrett Hill is my guest. You're welcome in. It's news, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch says cutting the cost of living is a bigger priority than a new Bears stadium.
Talking about a brand new Bears stadium when this one's not even 25 years old, that's insensitive to what real people are going through right now.
Speaking at the City Club of Chicago, Welch noted that the team is now eyeing Northwest Indiana after state leaders said the project isn't a 2026 priority. Baltimore hit a historic low in violent crime last year with 133 homicides, the fewest in nearly 50 years. Black Mayor Brandon Scott credits strategies like group violence reduction and announced a new 5-year plan to cut killings by 15% annually. And the Destiny's Child Reimagined Tribute Tour is bringing the group's iconic sound and sisterhood to life in 6 cities. Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles, will be at each show. Get more info at Destiny'sChildReimaginedTour.com. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers and Clippers lost on the road Wednesday night. San Antonio snapped the Lakers' 3-game winning streak with a 107-91 beatdown. LeBron did not play. The Lakers sat him down for the second game of a back-to-back. Somebody named Keldon Johnson led San Antonio with 27 points. The Lakers were at home Friday night against Milwaukee. The Clippers lost to the Knicks in New York 123-111. The Clippers bench gave the starters no help. The reserves made only 4 of 23 shots. Kawhi Leonard had a decent night with 25 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. The Clippers are at Brooklyn Friday. Also Friday night at 6 p.m. Out of Bounds is moving to prime time. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough for 60 minutes of sports chatter with some black folks flavor. You can be a part of the conversation at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
With your Los Angeles Public Library card, you can access the latest music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels, and more, all for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
Still battling a thirsty lawn that guzzles water and drains your wallet? Let LADWP turn that patch of grass into a gorgeous, drought-smart garden for free. We're talking a full California-friendly landscape makeover designed and installed by pros at no cost to you. That's right, LADWP does the work, you get the upgrade. Ready to transform your yard and save big? Visit ladwp.com/leap. That's ladwp.com/LEAP.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
Trainer Games on Prime Video January 8th. Watch the trailer on trainergames.com.
Looking for something new? Try fencing, the Olympic and Paralympic sport that mixes speed, strategy, and fun. It's like chess meets cardio. Quick feet, quick decisions, and a satisfying beep when you score a point. Kids, teens, and adults can start anytime. No experience needed, and many clubs have loaner gear. Coaches teach fundamentals and safety from day one. Find a beginner class near you at usafencing.org/tryfencing. That's usafencing.org/tryfencing.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
And today at Scholarly Match is Jarrett Hill, award-winning journalist and artist and author, Historically Black Phrases. His book is available now. You can get it wherever books are sold, and of course you can get it at your online purveyors of books. That was a fun book, Jarrett, and I'm sure there are quite a few of them that apply to the moment. Those phrases.
They definitely do. Plenty of our phrases. And I should say we have a game coming out this fall. Historically Black Phrases will become a card game that you can play with your family at home based on our game show that we travel with.
Oh, I love that so much. A gift. That's a gift I would give to several people. So
Yes.
And you have your own website, historicallyblackphrases.com, where we can find the book. And I'm assuming that the game will also be there?
Yes, it will be out in September, so it's not on the website yet, but we'll have some pre-orders and things like that starting soon.
Oh, that's awesome. But you can order the book, Historically Black Phrases, from I Ain't One of Your Little Friends to Who All Gonna Be There, and more. It's all there. Let's go to the phones. Ira from L.A. is calling. Ira, meet Jarrett. Jarrett, meet Ira.
Hey, Ira. Good morning, Jarrett. Dominique, how are you? Thank you for having me. Listen, as always, protect black women. In this case in Minnesota is very important. It's similar to the murder 60-plus years ago of, I think, a lady named Viola, who was ferrying blacks back and forth during the civil rights movement down in Mississippi. She was also murdered. It's a lesson for young white women. Listen, if they think you're one of the blank word lovers, they will do this to you. We tell all good white girls, remember this. You are seen as one of us if you move in our direction. Please don't do it.
That's your message. Don't be an ally because you might get shot.
You have to understand, people are taking sides on this. This is not your fight. I'm not speaking to white girls now. This is not your fight. Don't involve yourself in this because they will see you as an enemy and they eliminate all threats. Those are their orders. I'm sorry. That's just how they see it.
Jarrett, your thoughts?
Well, Ira, I'm fascinated by this take, and I mean, I don't know that I would would say it quite that way. I mean, I do think like a fascist government will push back against any kind of resistance. I'm a little challenged by that as a message to white women, especially in a time when white women are under attack from this administration as well, right? All women are under attack from this administration. So the idea that white women need a message to not push back, I don't know that that's really useful in a country that is going to have to revolt against this government at some point.
99% of white women they toe the line. And when they do that, they understand that they come out on top. Whites are on top for a reason, because they tend to stick together. If they start to splinter, that's when they start to see these sorts of uprisings. It will continue to happen. Blacks need to stay together just as whites need to. White women are no different from white males for the most part. They really do need to stay at home on this one.
I think we're going to...
When you say stay at home on this one, what does that mean?
That means that they should not be taking up the mantle for blacks or for people who are seen as illegals or any of these sorts of things. They need to stay on the white side of this, on the Donald Trump side of this.
Oh, Ira, can I ask you, if your perspective is that white people need to stay out of this fight, would you tell black people to stay out of the immigration fight, or would you tell straight people to stay out of the queer fight? Would you tell able-bodied people to not get into the disability conversations? Like, I'm trying to understand the logic of this argument.
I would tell people to stay with your own. You have to understand that if you're an outlier, you're going to be seen as a threat, and you will be eliminated under this new government. They will not take any shorts for people that they see as outsiders.
So, Ira, let's take that a step further and consider what happens when all of these different groups that you're talking about are working in silos and not working in concert or in community with one another to be able to push back against what we're seeing happening. How do you imagine disabled people being able to rise up against a fascist government that is taking away all of the different ways in which they have been able to access buildings or have rights at work, or the various other ways that we've seen progress, not enough, but progress for the disabled community? How would we look at that if we were considering only able-bodied people need to get into that conversation? I need to stay away from that conversation, excuse me.
And I do appreciate the need to have people of different types who can access society and having the fight to be able to fight for that. And I understand others who are on outside of those communities really having a sympathy for them. But I think to take an active role in it at this particular time with this administration, you're signing your own death warrant, because you're going to be seen as someone who is standing outside the norm, and that's the first one that they're going to want to eliminate.
If we didn't have people standing outside the norm, we'd still be enslaved. I mean, we'd still be that's the worst argument I've heard in a long time.
Well, Ira, I think the challenge is for this particular story, right? The story that we're dealing with in Minneapolis. If we just look at this from a data perspective, white people are the largest group in this country, right? The largest voting bloc. And women are the largest specific group of any group, and white people are the largest racial group, right? So that makes white women the largest voting bloc, the largest group of people who are affecting the ways in which our politics show up. The idea that white women should sit this one out just doesn't really make logical sense to me when we're looking at a system that is going to have to be overturned by all of its people. So white women need to look at this moment and say, like, oh, we're being impacted by this too, in the same way that we have conversations around reproductive rights, the same way we have conversations around bodily autonomy and various other things that we consider to be, quote, women's rights. We wouldn't say to men like, oh, don't care about that, right? Don't rise up. And I'm like, no. This is something that I think is wrong, and I'm going to speak up about it. And the idea that we are supposed to stay in our silos, I don't know that benefits anyone in the silos, nor does it benefit the people in the community surrounding it. So I take your point and understand where you're coming from, but I don't think it's a really useful, valuable way to approach this moment.
I mean, and I think when we talk about Trump's ICE Gestapo, which is what this group really is, his personal fascist army, they're coming after everybody. I don't see, yes, they're supposed to be getting criminals who are immigrants, but they're getting non-criminal migrants. They're getting people seeking refugee status, people with temporary protected status, now citizens. I mean, Keith Porter Jr., we haven't even gotten into that today, a black man who was murdered by ICE on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, and they're trying to say he was an active shooter, even though he wasn't. So to say, well, I'm going to sit this one out, it seems this is not really an isolated, even if that was your philosophy, this is not really an isolated issue. This impacts everybody. So I don't, we're going to agree to disagree on that one, Ira. But I appreciate the call, though.
Thank you, and enjoy your day.
Jarrett?
Well, I would also take this. I would take the point that you're making, Dominique, which I agree with, and say, like, what happens when it's not a white woman that's being shot by ICE, but it is a black woman? Are we going to say, well, black people, we need to deal with this one, but white people, y'all need to deal with that one, when, like, black people and white people have not been the target of most of these things over the course of the time that it's been happening? And so I think that when we look at the people, right, the people have to come together and say, like, no, this is not what we're doing. This is not who we say we are. This is not the country we want to be. And I think that requires all Americans of all different kinds of stripes, all of different backgrounds, genders, races, races and ethnicities, religions, what have you. It's important for all of us to show up in that time and to be able to come back and say, like, this is not what we want to be. This is who we have been, and we do not have to pretend that we have never been this person or this is not who America is. But it is important that we push back and say, this is not who we want to be.
Yeah, it's well said. And yeah, thank you, Ira. I do think this is something that impacts all Americans. So sitting this one out, if you like the Constitution, then it does apply to you. Let's go to Joe calling us from Germany. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, thank you so much for taking my call. Peace to both of you, and it's a pleasure. I appreciate you all, talking about this very important topic, because a lot of us are getting very emotional right now, and we're not all critical thinking. So I do agree with what the both of you have been saying. Justice is something that is the responsibility of all of us. If any of us are hurt, all of us are hurt. It's like everyone has forgotten everything Martin Luther King has said. And, rest in peace. The brother's birthday is coming up in a few days. I can recommend that everyone try to watch a documentary called King in the Wilderness from 2018 about Martin Luther King. You will learn stuff that you cannot believe you did not know. And that will put a lot of stuff into perspective. We need a moral leader. When I was younger, I was radical. I was all about Malcolm X. I was all about violence, black power. I thought this was synonymous with that. As I grew up, I'm 55 now. I'm apologizing to C. Dolores Tucker, rest in peace, and Martin Luther King, and I'm realizing how hard these people struggle and the strength of their moral character. And the fact is that we all as a country are bleeding because we have no moral leadership. We don't have one person to rally around. And like Kamala Harris said at her speech in CBC, we need to stop looking for a savior in one person. We're so obsessed with this celebrity culture and looking for messiahs. It's going to take all of us. It takes a village, and we cannot stand by and let any woman, we have to protect women, any woman be killed, anyone's rights be violated. Illegals that are undocumented, we still have to stand up for them too. Because look, when we ignore the rights of one, they're going to come after all of us. We're just last on the menu.
Yeah, it's really well said, Joe. Jarrett?
Well, I don't know that we're last on the menu, but I do agree with you that they are coming for all of us.
Yeah. Sometimes it seems like we're the feature on the menu, but yeah.
Listen, the special,
the daily special,
the entree, the appetizer, and the dessert. I would say, though, Dominique, I'm always challenged by the idea or feeling that we need to have a central moral leader. And I think this is a conversation we have around our social justice movements now, right? When we think about BLM and the ways that has come up, and people always saying, oh, we need a leader, we need a leader, we need a leader. And it's like, well, we saw what they've done to leaders in the past. And so it's like, how do we handle that? What are we looking for? And when I think about needing a moral leader, I'm challenged with that coming out of divinity school. I do agree that we need a leader with morals, but we're also not supposed to be a country that is following a particular religious perspective, and I think our morals tend to come into that. But I do think that we need to have a leader with morals, with a value system that cares about people. One of the things I think about with Donald Trump often is throughout his first administration, whenever there was a national tragedy or something that happened on the national stage that was horrendous, we never looked to Donald Trump to give us a speech to make us feel better. We never had a Donald Trump come out and say, we're going through a difficult moment. Let's appeal to our better angels, or how do we, at the risk of Reagan language there, but I think about the ways in which we do not have a president that people can even look to or hear from and feel consoled when we're in a difficult moment. And I think that is a thing that stands out to me as unique and particular about this presidency.
Thank you for your call, Joe. Really appreciate your support of the station and your participation, engagement. Joe called 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. For 40 years, I have had the privilege, and I don't use that word lightly, the privilege of sitting down with presidents, world leaders, authors, artists, activists, the folk who shape our world. Thousands of conversations, tens of thousands of questions. And somewhere along the way, I realized that the art of conversation is dying. So here's what I'm going to do about it. I am now going to teach what these almost 40 years have taught me: how to have conversations that matter. 6 courses, from the anatomy of a great conversation to generous listening as a superpower to handling difficult exchanges without losing your dignity or your mind. Go to TavisTalks.com right now. That's TavisTalks.com. Download the free guide, see what's coming, sign up to be the first to know when we launch the series. Conversation is a skill, and like any skill, it can be taught. I'll see you in class.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up for 40 days of consistent sin. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We don't. Jarrett Hill is my guest, and we're talking what's going on in the world. We're talking national politics. Jarrett, of course, a journalist, an artist, and an author. They are protesting in Minneapolis. It's not like they're not reacting. Those are peaceful protests so far, meaning so far so good. Oftentimes it's the police and or ICE that make these protests escalate. We saw that happen in LA with them, trying to just sending rubber bullets and pepper spraying people that were doing nothing, even pastors. But so far the people of Minneapolis have been able to keep that at bay.
Yeah, I'm curious how this will grow and change. I'm looking at some of the coverage of the protesters. Seeing on CNN the headlines says protesters clashed with authorities this morning after ICE agents killing a woman in Minneapolis. And like I think about, I don't think we can come into this moment and not think about George Floyd. And the way that the country, the way that Black folks and then the country and then the world responded to that case, and watching him die on video like that, something I've never, to the point earlier, I've never seen the complete video of that because of the way that it felt watching minute after minute. I was like, I can't finish watching this video.
Yeah.
I am curious to see how people are going to respond to this. If this will be, as we talked about earlier, is this going to be enough for people to rise up? I'm hopeful that this is a moment where people will be like, actually, this is enough. And we can talk about, how that might manifest.
I mean, one of the things with the George Floyd video, which I saw once, I would not watch it over and over. I couldn't handle it. I could watch it once. But one of the things that made it so terrible was the fact the guy kind of had his hands in his pockets, like he was very casually murdering this man. And I think we have a similar situation with Renee Good, because the officer, if he is that, the ICE agent, whatever he is, the masked man, shoots her in the head and then walks away very casually, adjusting his mask as if he had swatted a fly. There is zero remorse, zero reaction to the fact that he just murdered someone in cold blood, in broad daylight, on video.
Well, and I think one of the asterisks that you put in there that's really important here is that we think it's an officer.
Yeah.
I think part of what's also really horrifying about this time in this country is knowing that there are men who are putting on masks, putting on uniforms that they get on Amazon and going out into the world and abducting people. We know that this has had incredibly harmful consequences for women being abducted and taken, and God knows what happens to them in those instances, right? And so, we're dealing with something where the government is allowing or even propping up or setting up space for people who are not even actual law enforcement to be able to come out and shoot people in the street or pull them off of the sidewalk and throw them into vehicles and go do who knows what. So I think it's that asterisk in there that you say we think this is an officer and we don't know for sure, but it is horrifying to be like, well, we don't know who could bust into your home or who could pull you off the street or who could jump out of a vehicle with a mask on and some kind of a vest and tell you that they are ICE. That is a huge one for Americans right now.
Yeah, and the fact that they are just hardline defending this, even though it's so clear on video, is insane to me. But I do think that to me, it's not going to be one incident this time. It's this constant drip, drip, drip. They say they're flooding the zone. They want to burn us out. They want us to feel overwhelmed. I mean, I kind of thought we'd be talking about, Maduro right now, right? They just kidnapped a leader from another country, and now they're prosecuting him. They say we're running all of these crazy things are happening. But now it's, a few days later, we're on to something else that's very outrageous and very threatening to the safety and well-being of the average American. I think that is backfiring. I think the drip, 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 the constant outrages, the constant disregard of our rights and humanity, I think it's starting to have a cumulative effect, and that is what is going to do it.
Well, and you used the phrase that they use, flooding the zone, right?
Yeah.
Where, and you also know this as a journalist, we know that they are trying to overwhelm the system, right? And as a person who tries to stay up to date on these things as best I can, I remember in the first Trump administration feeling overwhelmed with stories right? And as
Yeah.
you're trying to program, I was on the radio, 4 hours a day at the time, and it's like trying to figure out which thing to talk about is really challenging when we're used to the news cycle moving at a slower pace. But this is a strategy, right? And like we've heard Steve Bannon talk about this time and time again, this flooding the zone strategy, where they are trying to shoot 3 things out into the world that we don't even know what to do with every single day. And whether it's a person being shot and killed, whether it's a foreign leader being, pulled out of their country, or us allowing something to happen in another country, or the president meeting with somebody he shouldn't be meeting with, or him taking a gift from another country, or him allowing other people in the White House, like whatever it is, there's always more and more, and this is a strategy.
Yeah, it's a strategy, but I think we're adapting to it. I mean, even though it's overwhelming, I think people are, I don't know. No one's forgetting the Epstein files. I don't think they are. Even, with trying to take over another country and murdering people in the streets, I think people are still thinking about the Epstein files. So that means we're getting less pliable.
I think I disagree.
Really?
I think I disagree with you. Yeah, because one, like, we haven't said Epstein in this hour, right, until this moment, because there's so many other things to talk about.
Yeah.
But also, like, the Epstein files, the thing with the Epstein files is, yes, I do think they should be released, but I don't know what we could learn in there about Donald Trump, at least, that we didn't know before he was elected the first time.
Right.
Right? Like, Access Hollywood, he told us that he likes to grab women in ways that are inappropriate, right? And then women came out and said, oh, he did that to me. And people are like, oh, no, he didn't. And it's like, what? And so
That's terrible.
the idea that, the idea that there's always going to be more things, I'm challenged with that, but we can debate that sometimes.
Well, you might be right, Jarrett. You might be right. Tell folks how to track you and your great work.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you can find me everywhere at Jarrett Hill, 2 R's and 2 T's in Jarrett. Dominique, you gave me a great promotion for the book here, Historically Black Phrases from I and One of Your Little Friends, who all going to be there. Is available wherever you get your books, historicallyblackphrases.com. And if you're in D.C., we'll be in D.C. on February 4th doing Historically Black Phrases Live, which is our game show that is based on Black culture.
I can't wait for that game. That's going to be so fun. Well,
thank you. Yes, it's going to be fun.
Jarrett, thank you so much for being with me this morning.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to be with you.
We're talking well-being and fitness after news, traffic, and sports. Rodney Richardson joins us only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch says cutting the cost of living is a bigger priority than a new Bears stadium.
Talking about a brand new Bears stadium when this one's not even 25 years old, that's insensitive to what real people are going through right now.
Speaking at the City Club of Chicago, Welch noted that the team is now eyeing Northwest Indiana after state leaders said the project isn't a 2026 priority. Baltimore hit a historic low in violent crime last year with 133 homicides, the fewest in nearly 50 years.